morning, everybody that happens to stumble across this video of Kagurabachi. And yes, I'm going to be getting into my review for chapter 98 of the manga. And I really enjoyed this chapter. We got a lot of insight on Hagiwara in this chapter itself because he's been absent for quite a bit. And I'm really glad that the versus Soja arc still has a huge impact in the story. I actually think that's pretty cool how it still lingers with whatever's currently going on right now. But I'm really going to dive in super deep when it comes to everything that transpired within this chapter itself. So like I say towards the beginning of every single video, if you guys have any thoughts of your own that you want to share with me, be sure to let me know, as always, in the comment section down below, surrounding this chapter, of course. So chapter 98 opens with a flashback that gives us more insight into Hagiwara's past. During this flashback, Hagiwara declares that his squad's lives are in his hands, showing how deeply he values his comrades and the weight of his responsibility as a leader. The way the flashback is presented makes it clear that tragedy is coming. Even though Hagiwara promises to protect everyone, there's an uneasy feeling that not all of them will survive. The buildup is emotional because we can already sense how much this event is going to affect him later on. The bond between Hagiwara and Shiyumi, as well as the rest of the squad, make this moment hit harder once we see the outcome. I really liked how this chapter uses flashback to frame everything that happens afterward. It's not just a random piece of history, it's the foundation of Hagiwara's guilt and the reason behind his state of mind in the present. The moment also highlights the core of his character, a man who values the lives of others more than his own, and that sense of duty is both his greatest strength and also his downfall. After the flashback itself, we then return to the present where Hagiwara wakes up after recovering from his injuries sustained during the fight with Sojo. He's still haunted by what happened to his team, almost completely consumed by guilt. But what makes this moment powerful is how broken he's become. He sees himself as a failure who couldn't live up to his promise, and that guilt has trapped him in a state of emotional paralysis. The detail that stuck out to me was how he surrounds himself with iron sand in his bed, shaping it to resemble pieces of his fallen comrades' uniforms. It's his way of keeping them close even though they're gone. It's tragic, but it also shows how much their loss weighs on him. He hasn't been able to let go of the past, and it's clear that his trauma has left him both physically and mentally scarred. From the outside, the other Kaminari members just see a man talking to himself, but for Hagiwara, it's a painful reality he can't escape. His guilt has blurred the line between what's real and what isn't, making his recovery feel even more distant. I found this portrayal incredibly human. It's raw, it's painful, and it reminds us that not every warrior can carry the weight of loss and come out unscathed. One of the most striking parts of this chapter, of course, is how we finally understand the truth behind Kugara's ghost. Hagiwara believes that his childhood friend survived, but in reality, Kugara has been dead all along. What he's seeing and talking to is a subconscious illusion, an image of Kugara animated by his own magnetic power through the mask. It's not a ghost or a spirit, but a projection of his grief taking form. This illusion represents Hagiwara's desperate need for connection. He's been living in isolation, using his sorcery to create the comforting lie that his friend is still with him. It's both heartbreaking and fascinating. Even though he knows deep down it's not real, he still talks to Kugara's mask as if it were alive, as if that voice can still guide him. That conflict between logic and emotion gives this chapter a deep sense of tragedy. What I liked about this moment as well is that it doesn't portray him as weak. Instead, it shows how trauma can reshape a person's reality. Hagiwara isn't crazy, he's someone who can't let go of the people he's lost. This illusion of Kugara becomes the emotional core of the chapter, turning his guilt into something almost supernatural, born entirely from his own subconscious. Eventually, Hagiwara decides to rejoin the fight against the Hishaku after hearing the announcement that all combatants must locate and eliminate the barrier host. Despite his weakened state and guilt, he chooses to step back into battle, dedicating the fight to his fallen comrades. It's a powerful moment because you can tell he's not just doing it for all of the glory, he's doing it to honor their memory. He ends up facing off against Yoran and Bingo, two Hishaku members who quickly show how dangerous they are. Yoran uses an ice-based ability that freezes Hagiwara, while Bingo's Mako head tries to attack him from behind. But Hagiwara's instinct kicks in and he uses his magnetite sand to block the strike and break free from the ice. The way the scene is drawn feels tense and desperate, like every moment could be his very last. What made this fight memorable for me wasn't the action itself, but how it reflected Hagiwara's internal struggle. He's still fighting for the people he couldn't save, but this time it's different. What made this fight memorable for me wasn't the action itself, but how it reflected Hagiwara's eternal struggle. He's still fighting for the people he couldn't save, but this time it's different. There's a sense that he's starting to move forward, even if only slightly. His actions showed that he's still capable of protecting others, even when he doesn't believe it himself. The chapter takes us into another flashback that reveals the truth about what happened during the battle against Sojo. When Hagiwara was nearly crushed and drowning under a rock, he saw what he thought was Kugara's hand pulling him to safety, but in reality he saved himself. There was no one else there. This revelation changes everything we thought we knew about his bond of Kugara. That illusion being saved by Kugara becomes the breaking point for Hagiwara's mind. He begins to treat the mask he carries as if it were Kugara himself, refusing to face the truth that his friend is gone. It's a haunting detail that explains so much about his current state, and the guilt he feels isn't just about failing his team, it's about lying to himself to cope with all of their deaths. This scene made me realize how skillfully the story explores the psychological side of grief. The idea that his own power created the illusion of Kugara shows how tightly his emotions are tied to his sorcery. His power literally reflects his heart, and in this case, that heart is full of pain and denial. It's a tragic, deeply personal form of self-preservation. And as the chapter progresses, we learn that Kugara's sorcery has evolved beyond normal limits. His spirit energy now flows independently, allowing his magnetic control to move on its own. It's described as a state of ultimate unconsciousness, where his emotions and power have merged completely. What this means is that his grief and guilt have turned his sorcery into something almost alive, something closer to a curse or a shikigami. This evolution isn't just a power-up though, it's a reflection of how broken he's become. His abilities have developed as a direct result of his trauma, showing that pain can shape power in unexpected ways. The quote-unquote animated Kugara is a part of that evolution that we see, existing as both a product of Hagiwara's sorrow and the manifestation of his will to keep fighting. I think this development adds a lot of depth to his character. It's not about becoming stronger, it's about how his emotions define his strength. His powers aren't just tools, they're extensions of his mental state, and the story uses this idea beautifully, showing how his inner turmoil translates into something both terrifying and also very meaningful. In the final part of the chapter though, Hagiwara shows incredible focus and creativity. Despite being worn out physically and mentally, he uses his magnetic control in a completely new way. By spreading his iron sand through the air, he performs an MIRI-like scan to detect the internal structures of everybody nearby. It's an impressive display of both intelligence and precision too. Through this scan, he's able to locate the Hishaku member carrying the barrier scroll, the same person who earlier vowed to make Yura the king of Japan. Once he's identified, the illusion of Kugara delivers the killing blow, piercing through the vessel instantly. This moment serves as both a tactical victory and an emotional release for Hagiwara. To me, this was the moment where Hagiwara finally finds some peace. He's still burdened by guilt, but his actions prove that his own will to protect others hasn't disappeared. Even though Kugara's image isn't real, the emotions behind it are, and it feels like Hagiwara is learning to live with his pain instead of being fully consumed by it. When I look back at chapter 98 as a whole, it's not just a story about battle, it's about the weight of guilt and how people can cope with loss. Hagiwara's journey shows that even when someone breaks under pressure, they can still find a reason to stand again. His illusion of Kugara isn't just a delusion, it's the embodiment of everything he loved and lost, and it gives him the strength to keep moving forward. I think what makes this chapter so powerful is how it blends emotional storytelling with strong visual symbolism. Every aspect of Hagiwara's power ties back to his heart and memories. The magnetism isn't just a fighting technique, it's a metaphor for connection, for the invisible pull between people who care about each other even after death. By the end of the chapter, I was left feeling both sad and inspired, because Hagiwara's story is full of sorrow, but it's also one of the quiet redemptions that he's currently going on, because it shows that healing doesn't mean forgetting, it means accepting and what's gone and finding strength in what remains. Other than that, those are my thoughts on Kagurabachi. So now I'm going to give the floor to you guys. I want to give you the ball. I want you guys to run with it. How did you feel about this chapter of Kagurabachi? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Is there anything deep down that you want to share with me regarding Kagurabachi Chapter 98? Be sure to let me know, as always, in the comments section down below. And if you guys enjoy this video, as always, be sure to like and subscribe. I would really appreciate it. And if you want to follow me on my social media, be sure to check out my X, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. All the links are located in the description below, so be sure to follow me on there. Also, if you guys want to join my Discord server so we could make a huge community on here and talk more about anime and manga, be sure to click on that link pinned in the comments section, as well as the comment that I always leave there, just in case you guys have any questions to it. Be sure to click on that bell for notifications so you guys are notified whenever I'm dropping a new video on the channel. I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day, wherever the day may be, if it's the daytime, the nighttime, or the evening. And I'll see you guys in the next video. As always, peace out.